Okay, guys. So the narcissist is so incredibly and pathetically desperate for attention that they will go to extreme lengths to get it, and things that are almost humorous and sad, self-destructive, comical sometimes. But I'll explain a few of the things that I have personally noticed. For example, they might neglect their own family or their own kids, but then they'll take money out of their family accounts and go buy a bunch of strangers gifts so that the strangers will go, oh, you're so important, you're so important, and they're craving it. They're craving it. So that's one way that certain people will get attention. Or they'll buy gifts, right? They might buy gifts, but they're really stingy, and they'll give you a gift. This is for you. That's one thing my narc used to go is, I got this for you. I got this for you. You must understand. It'd be the small, cheap little thing. That was okay. I would say that it was thoughtful, right? I normally would appreciate a gift. But that narcissists usually give gifts only to obtain control. In fact, a former employer that I had would mistreat every staff member he had. I mean, this guy would put his fists in people's face and grit his teeth and slander his employees. And I mean, it was pathetic. This was a pathetic excuse of a human being, really. I'm sorry to say that. That sounds kind of mean, but seriously, I mean, the guy had honestly admitted, I like hurting people. When someone says, I like hurting people, they're a monster. Anyway, but then one of the things that he actually said to me is he would go, I remember one day he flipped out like he always did, and he said, people like me because I buy things for them. That literally is the limit of their vision. That's it. They will mistreat everybody, but then they think that everybody likes them because they bought them something. So, and I would see this. I'd see this a lot in more than one person. And I'm not going to name any names because that wouldn't be cool, but where they would completely abuse or call somebody terrible, worthless, garbage, a whore, a fool, inferior being, or they might even slap them if they're physically violent, but then they would buy them a cracker and go, see, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. They have this excuse to totally abuse, but then turn around and try to show how good they are. But they really are very, very desperate for attention. So there's the buying gifts to get attention. There's the making up a bunch of BS stories to get attention. Oh, I'm a great sea captain. Oh, I'm a great space captain. I fought off 3 men and saved the day. I saved everybody at the hospital with my ambulance, and doctors were bowing down. It's pretty desperate. Those are a couple things I see. A couple other kind of funny examples is one day I was hanging out with my ex-narc. And by ex-narc, I mean this is was a former, quote, narc friend. Excuse me for a second. Hey, cool. Sorry, quick nose scratch, and I didn't want to look tacky. I hate that. It's always when I'm trying to talk on here. But anyway, so I was at this narc was a friend. Not that narcs have friends, but a buddy. We thought he was a good buddy, but narcissists don't have buddy because that's for their inferior mortals, and I'm a living god. One thing about being a god is that you climb the top of Mount Olympus and ultimately you die alone because nobody's good enough. Ain't cool again. Okay, I better make this short. Anyway, so they're desperate to get attention. So I'm with this guy at this classical guitar concert or master class. And we're talking to the instructor, who was a really nice guy. Unfortunately, later found out that he had succumbed to suicide, which, a real bad, real sad thing because he was a super, super nice guy. But, sometimes, I mean, I'm not judgmental on that. I think it's something to, we should pray. I mean, we should not, I don't know. People judge all the time and call it selfish, stupid. No, sometimes people go through a real rough time and we don't know what's going on in their life and we don't know, you get it. So anyway, he was a real nice fellow. I really liked him. He had even mailed me some music. I liked some of the pieces he played, and he had sent the music to me, which was really cool. So anyway, we're playing, and the instructor was just talking to the students, and he made a comment. He goes, I practice about 8 hours a day. Seems like a lot, but it was his full-time job, right? About 8 hours a day. But before he could even finish getting through that sentence, I practice about 8 hours a day. The narcissist jumps out next to me, totally embarrassing, in the audience, and yells out, yes, well, I practice 10 hours a day. He had to one-up him. And the guy tastefully just went, oh, wow. He knew what was going on if he didn't know all of it, but he handled that very, very well. At another time, the same narc, we were at a coffee shop, and a friend, well, she wasn't really a friend, it was more of an acquaintance, from the music department where I had gone to school and got my degree, was coming back and telling us that she was really excited because she had gotten back from Italy. She had gone to Italy, which, hey, I'm jealous. I'd like to go visit. But anyway, so she goes, well, I just got back from Italy, and this guy jumps in and interrupts again. He goes, well, I've been close enough because I rode the gondolas in Las Vegas. Yes, see how Italian I am? And she's just like, okay, I'm trying to figure out where you're going with that. Well, no one knows, and neither does he, because what he did was throw it in for a bite of attention. That's like that funny meme they have where the girl's fishing on the boat and says, never mind me, just fishing for attention. That is really what they're doing all the time. And now I think we all have a need to be needed in a sense. I mean, we all want to belong. That's a normal, healthy. There's healthy narcissism, right? Take care of my hair, brush my teeth. That's not selfish. Narcissism is a spectrum. We talked about that. It's the disordered issue. But, when you look nice or you comb your hair, that you could say is a form of healthy narcissism. I don't even like to call it narcissism at all because it's just so human and normal. We think of narcissism because the term comes from the Greek when I think it was a nymph Echo had fallen in love or lust more with Narcissus, and Narcissus rejected her, and so she got angry and cursed him, and he was cursed to fall in love with his own reflection in the pond, and ultimately he drowned. Well, thus is the pretty good stuff there. But anyway, that's where the term comes from. I believe this is what the Bible refers to as the Jezebel spirit. But either way, it is ugly. It is an ugly spirit. But they really are very, very desperate for attention. And they will do anything to get it. And they would rather be hated than ignored. If they can't make you love them, not because they care about love. They don't want to be loved. You'd say most normal people want to be loved. Maybe they just need love, but it's like these guys don't. You would think they would, having the fact that they have nobody real and no real relationships, that they might want someone to care about them. That's a normal human need, but they're not normal humans. It's like if they had to choose between being loved by genuine people, 2 or 3 people around them that really cared about them, or worshipped by millions of people, emptily, so, empty, that's not even a word. They would rather choose the empty praise of a million people saying, you are God, you are God, you are God, give me feed, than they would ever take 2 or 3 people actually caring about them. And until that heart changes, the sickness in their heart, the sickness in their mind changes, but usually they like who they are. I ain't never going to change. I like who I am. I'm a good person. You gotta, when the brakes are going out on the car, you gotta admit there's a problem before you go and get them fixed, and then you have a good car. But if you're not willing to do that, then inevitably you're going to crash. So, anyway, but sometimes they like who they are. They'll, like I said, in the past they brag, I'm Mr. Mean, I like hurting people, look how important I am, I'm mean. So if that is the mindset that they want to keep, to protect their inner wounded child, or just to be an ass, or whatever the case may be, then there's not a lot you can do. But, they'll talk over people. And now not everybody, I want to point this out because this is something that I myself have actually struggled with a little bit. I try not to cut people off in conversations, but sometimes I'm bad about doing that. Not because I'm a narcissist, because I do value what they're saying, and I'm very interested in what other people are saying. I like people. And a narcissist, that makes you very weak, you inferior being. No, it makes you sick that you don't. I like hearing people's stories. I like hearing I like the story of people. I like when people tell me what they're interested in, or where they work, or what they want to do, or what their dreams are. I like it when they tell me about their family. But as you guys can notice, I talk real fast, and my mind, sometimes my words will blur, they'll get blurry and muddy because my mind moves so freaking fast. It moves faster than my words can keep up. My mind is 120,000 miles a second, And yes, by the way, not to toot my own horn, I am very, very, very well educated. I have total ADHD. Not so much the hyper. I guess I am. You just watch my videos. You draw your own conclusions. But sometimes I will butt in, and I almost talk over people, but I try to be real conscientious of that because I don't want it to come across as I'm being rude or that I don't care about what they're saying, because I do. Sometimes I get a little anxious to say something, of what I have to say, but that's just because I'm excited. That's because I get excited. Like if I'm talking about biblical archaeology or philosophy, or I like to argue. I'm real bad about that. Philosophically argue, not like bicker and conflict. But I think it was Bertrand Russell that once said that heaven for Socrates was a place where he could go on arguing because he liked to argue so much. And the Athenians accused him of corrupting the youth. But I can totally dig that spirit. I do like to argue. I sometimes have a little fun arguing with my middle school students when they're having fun, just being typical middle school kids. They try to throw a little tooth. Sometimes I'll use an argument to turn it around on them, and it's funny. They get annoyed, but they kind of laugh about it. It's just kind of something we do. But sometimes I'll butt in. But a narcissist just doesn't care what you have to say. They don't care. You are there to listen to them muse about everything that's important to them, and you are not important. I will say that the narc that I had actually went as far as to say, I guess he was trying to get into Eastern mysticism or something. And I'm not saying that everybody that's into Eastern mysticism is a narcissist or bad person. Actually, you find a lot of really nice Buddhists and Hindus. We just have theological differences, which we can talk. But he said, that pole is just aware that I'm here, is that I am aware of the pole. Now, he was talking about consciousness, I think is what he was trying to say. But then when he says stuff like that bird is my best friend, you put that bird is my best friend, this boat, I would make love to this boat, and this pole is as aware of me as I am of this pole. I think at that point you're starting to realize that it's not that there's a short circuit there, it's that the whole freaking motherboard is completely fried. So anyway, there you have it. But they're always walking around going, me. Another thing I've seen one of the narcissists do, narcissists hate children. Oh my gosh, they hate children. They riot because the children get attention. And that takes attention away from them. Babies are cute. We all like babies. Now, not everybody likes kids, and I get that, and that doesn't mean they're a mean person. But, generally people like a baby. Oh, a cute little baby. Let's poke the little nose and beat the little cheeks. Narcissists are, how dare you take the attention off of me, a living God, you see? But to put on a front, they'll go over there and obnoxiously go, oh, that baby's so wonderful. That baby's so cute. Look how cute that baby is, you see? Oh, yes. What they're saying is, I want everybody in this room to understand how me, think that baby's cute. So I draw the attention off the baby and onto me. I think the baby's cute. And therefore, instead of having attention to the baby, I talk over it, show how important I think the baby is, so I get some attention. They will also do that in a restaurant. The best one we would see is we were eating enchiladas. And this guy would sit here and go, oh, this is good sauce. And he'd talk loud, this is good sauce. I need everyone in this restaurant to understand how good I think this sauce is. See? So he's wanting to get that attention. They really are that desperate. It's sad. And I don't hate them for that, but it's kooky. And it's not a matter of love. They have people that love them. They just use that as an excuse to hurt them and abuse them. They see love as weak. Intimacy is for the inferior. So it's not a matter of they don't get enough love. They don't frickin' want it. They don't want to be loved. And I wish it weren't like that. And it's sad because I think that, I think it's tragic. I think it's tragic for them. And I think it's tragic for them, I mean, honestly, as a human being, as it is, everybody else around them. But it's worse for everybody around them because they say that narcissism is that one disorder where the narcissist just goes through life thinking everything's just fine. But yet he's hurting, destroying, devaluing, stealing from everybody else. He's creating wreckage and he's hurting a lot of good people, but he couldn't give a crap. I mean, if those people died tomorrow, there's no skin off his back. He'll just go on and get another hit. So everybody else is left, everyone else is left traumatized, but he just goes through happy little, I will kill, hurt, mean, and destroy. Sounds a little bit, I hate to use this term because I really don't like this term, satanic, the destroyer. I am become the destroyer of worlds, Shiva. Well, Bhagavad Gita, I become the destroyer of people, narcissism. And there you have it. Later.